Well, welcome to the farm show, and we're glad to have you stop by the Callicrate booth at the virtual farm show, and we really appreciate you stopping by. And the Callicrate is the banding company. We make several different banders for banding all sizes of livestock, and we want to go through these real quickly with you, and you can take a look at them. You can also go on our website and see all of our information. And so let me start out with the Callicrate Smart Bander. That's the original bander that we started with. It has gone through some evolution, so it's actually got improvements over the early days, but this bander is called the Smart Bander because it has a tension indicator on the handle. And when we ratchet it and wind the rubber around the spool, this peg will move to the back of the slot, and when it gets to the back of the slot, that'll be the proper tension. And it takes the guesswork out of it for you. These are the only banders that have tension indicators on them, and so it makes it much easier for those that are operating it. We put the loop, the standard loop in the bander with the metal clip in with the seam side up on the clip. And it's important to have the seam side up on the clip because we get a better crimp. So we'll put it in there, and then we take the button on the string and put it up from underneath, and then hold the clip in with your thumb and pull this up to full size, put a little tension on the string, and it's ready to go. What we'll do now is to apply it, you want to drop a couple bars on the side of your chute and reach in behind the animal from behind. Put your thumb in the loop and grab the bander by the nose of the bander and put your whole hand in the loop except your little finger and pull it down below the heel of your hand, and that makes it really easy to hold it. It requires no muscle at all to hold it. If you try and put your whole hand in there and force that loop open, it's really hard to do, almost impossible. So grab it like that, get a hold of your, reach under the bull from behind, get a hold of the scrotum from the top and the side. Don't try and grab it from underneath and pull it through because that makes it hard. So get a hold of it from the top and the side. Those 4 and 5 weights, you can just hold them above the testicles. Those 7, 8, 9 weights are bigger. Just grab the side of the scrotum like that and have your thumb in that loop. It's just a down and up motion. It's just down and around. And then we'll start ratcheting this. And it's easier when it's on the bull because the bull's holding things together. Now we'll start ratcheting, and we're going to ratchet it until this peg comes to the back of the slot. And you can go pretty fast because that spool is going to be clear full of rubber before you get it to the back of the slot. And so you can go pretty fast. And now at this point, we've got the tension indicator at the back of the slot. That's the right tension. And now we'll push the crimping lever down and forward, and that locks the clip on the loop. And now hold it back on the handle and get a hold of the cutter that comes with it. You want to use this cutter. Don't use a knife or a scalpel or scissors because they can fall back or slap back and knock those out of your hand. This is a nice cutter. It's like an ear tag cutter, except it's much stronger and is narrower at the cutting angle, so it cuts quicker. And besides, you can't get your hand in these like you can on a ear tag cutter. Just pull it through and cut them both at the spool and cut them both at once. And that's the end of the whole process right there for the Smart Bander. I think we'll move on now and visit with you a little bit about our latest version of this same type of a bander. And this one we call the Pro Bander. And what makes it different is it's all anodized aluminum, so it's quite a bit lighter. It has a tension indicator also. It's on the barrel of the bander, and the whole barrel will move back to the silver ring, and when that gets back to the silver ring, that's the proper tension with this bander. These loops that come with the Pro Bander have a self-catching clip, so that eliminates crimping. So that's another step that we get away from. We snap this onto the nose of the bander, the clip, and then put the pull strap in the tab. And again, just like the Smart Bander, put a little tension on that loop. And now to apply it, it's the same process. You grab the bander by the nose, put your thumb in the loop, put your whole hand in except for your little finger. Again, pull it down below the heel of your hand, and you're ready to go. And with this one, of course, the application is just the same. We want it about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch above the testicles, not up against the belly. And that's the same with the Smart Bander also. So we grab it the same way, thumb in the loop, down and up and around, and we start ratcheting. And when we start ratcheting, it'll pop that clip through that, or the loop through the clip, and it'll start to tighten. And then we'll go, and we can go just as fast as we did with the other one. And as you can see, we're moving back to the silver ring here. And when we get back to there, that'll be the proper tension. Okay, that's the proper tension with this one. And now, since it has a self-catching clip, we don't have to crimp it like we did the other one. And another feature is this has a self-attached cutter on it, so we don't have to use the other cutter. So at this point, we just reach underneath and bump the cutter with our hand, and that cuts it away from the bander. A couple of things that both of these banders also have are larger loops that we call prolapse loops. If you need to amputate a larger tissue mass, like a uterine prolapse or tumors or abscesses, rectal prolapses, anything that you need to use a larger loop on. And they're about this, twice the size almost of the other standard loops. One thing that the Smart Bander has, that's a nice feature, especially for veterinarians that are working by themselves a lot, is an open band we call a prolapse band. And it's nice for large tissue amputations because you can put this on what you're going to amputate before or after you put it in your bander. So you can get it around what you're going to amputate, put the end through the tab, and you can pull a lot of the slack out of it by hand, get it down to a usable size, pull it into the slot on the tab, cut the floppy end off, and put it in your bander, and you can get the very same tension that you did with the castration loops. So it's total ligation, shuts off the blood flow, and on anything you need to eliminate that blood flow and amputate, these larger loops will work. I think we'll move on now to our other bander that we call the wee bander, and it's the wee bander for small. And it's for doing smaller animals, baby calves, up to about 6 weeks of age, or lambs or goats. You can dock tails, you can dock castrate with it, whatever you need to do. But it's a high tension bander. Instead of using the little green Cheerio rings that a lot of people have used over the years, and the thing is about those is they're just not tight enough, never tight enough. And so those baby calves will pull a testicle back through those once in a while. And when you hear about complaints about banded calves, excuse me, it's caused by those little green Cheerio bands, because those babies can pull one back through, and then you end up with a stag, or the guy that buys your cattle ends up with a stag. And people that buy feeder cattle, and most veterinarians despise these little green rings. So what we're going to do is show you how to load the wee bander, and we'll turn it a quarter of a turn to the left, and that frees up the rod. And when you pull the tension, it's a direct pull with your hand. And this is our target. We try and get it back to the yellow mark. And as soon as you see that yellow mark, just open your hand and it'll self-release. What we do is there's little one-directional teeth on the tab of the loop, and we'll fit that on the nose of the bander, push it back, get it caught on that pull rod hook. And then turn it over, and with your other hand, hold that lever in so those pegs stay straight up and down. It comes with a little stretcher tool that helps you stretch this out over the pegs, and you just pull it out over the pegs, and it's ready to go. Now, you can see it's limited in size, so I'm going to tell you that about 6 weeks of age is your upper end. on those calves. And then lambs or goats, whichever size you can fit it in. But we'll go ahead and put it on the pen. We'll put it on the same pen that we have the elastrator band on. But there's no wrong way to hold this. And what's nice about this is you can have it loaded and open and ready to go before you get out of your pickup or off your four-wheeler or whatever to grab that calf. So you don't have to be squeezing that other tool while you're trying to wrestle your calf. But there's no wrong way to hold it. Whatever's going to be easiest depending on how you're handling your calf. But get the scrotum down through there and then shove that lever off to the side with your thumb, and when you let it go, you've got them captured. You've got it, whatever you're going to have in there. But if you miss something or need to adjust, see, it's not tight yet. So it's easy to handle. And now we're going to pull the rod back, and when we see that yellow mark, I'll just open my hand and it's self-released. So it's that quick. And if you were able to take a look at that, that is rock hard tension. That won't move. And that will retain that tension. That won't slip back on you. So you can see the difference already in the tension that's applied to those two bands. So that's our Callicrate Bander products, and we're glad that you stopped by and to visit with us here at the booth, and hope you'll go through the rest of the trade show, but we're really glad you stopped by. Thank you.